Good morning.
Hello. Um, Final five. The game, from not shifting much, has shifted a lot. And I don't think it's shifted in terms of like winning likelihood, but I think it is shifting in terms of likelihood of people that will take each other to the end, that will make it to the end, things like that. So there is a lot to talk about. Hopefully it doesn't take that long.
Mhm. So I've got
But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts. It was this week went as we thought it would, but there was a little added spice that will have repercussions going into next week.
yeah.
Cool. Ash,
Ashley.
I can start with Ashley. Peace and love. How is it possible that Ashley is the most likely person to go home at the Final Four? How is that possible?
Oh,
Who
oh,
is who in their right mind is not deciding to take this girl to the final two? Because I don't think that any of the other three have a runaway shot at winning against any other one. I think Dally is probably the most like, actually, no, I think Dally versus Jacob is a runaway, but I think Dally versus Dakota isn't necessarily a runaway. I think Dally is still likely to win. And I think Dakota versus Jacob is a very close vote as of this moment in time. Whereas they all should sweep Ashley. Um, in all honesty, maybe Jacob versus Ashley is questionable, but I think that's more for the meme than for people thinking smart. So, with that being said, I'm going down to a three.
yep, going back down too.
Yeah, like unfortunately. And like Ashley, I want to make this so clear. You text your diary this week and we're like, oh, I can't wait to watch the rankings to see if you guys like me. And let me say this. We love you. We love you so much. And I can't wait to be friends after this.
Oh my God, I feel so bad. This is so funny.
But the game is just not it right now. And that's okay.
Okay, I agree with everything.
And I don't have much more to say.
I don't,
She doesn't
yeah.
have, I think her number one, like I think if she had the choice, say she won the veto. Jacob is safe. We already know that. And I think her number one is clearly Dakota. So I think if she won, Dally goes home, which I think is the right move for her anyway. So,
I
but
mean,
yeah, she needs to win this veto, I
she just
think.
gotta take people out that can beat her at this point. So that's like the only move for her. Okay, Dakota.
Dakota, he's playing the game. However, I worry, whereas up to this point, when Dakota has consistently like pushed his plan to one person and then simultaneously pushed to get that person out the next week, and it's worked like every single time. We broke it down. EJ, then Alfred and Brady, then Eric, now Eduardo. The thing is, up to before this week, I was like, listen, if people are going to be bitter on that, that's on you. And like, this is like kind of the first week where I'm like, oh, Lordy, you knew so clearly that Dowling wanted Jacob to go. You knew that the jury would have loved to see Jacob go. And I'm not even saying to not vote Jacob out. I agree that keeping Jacob around probably works to your benefit, but I don't know if it was that much better than keeping Eduardo. And I don't know if using the veto on him was the move. On top of that, he's since had conversations with Dally about, and now seemingly from his diary rooms, if he wins the veto, I don't know if he'll like come around and like wake up, but I don't know if he's gonna evict her at the final four. And he's like, yeah, but I could just beat her in the final HOH. And I'm like, that's not a guarantee. Um, so I'm like, ooh. And the other thing is, if he does come around and evicts Dally at four, I think the jury may hate him more for that. So like, I don't even know. Um, I'm just in a very, very tricky place.
Yeah, yeah. I don't feel as strongly about him as I once did. Um, I think that wait, hold on. You have Jacob on here twice. This is with Eric. I was like, why is Jacob?
Oh, whoops.
Um, I think that once, like, as I think him not taking out a really big player this week made his chances of winning go down. Like, it's already questionable if he's gonna win if he's in the end. And in my opinion, he like yeah he has to get there, but also like doesn't matter if you get there if you can't be the person next to you. So like
Here's the thing. At this point, whereas before Ashley was locked for final two, I think if Jacob wins the final HOH, he takes Dakota. If Dally wins the final HOH, she takes Dakota. If Ashley wins the final HOH, she takes Dakota. This is largely barring Ashley going home at the final four. If Ashley's in the final three, I think Jacob probably takes Ashley. But even then, his odds of making it there are high. And the thing is,
sorry you didn't use barring right again. I'm so confused.
whatever, whatever.
I just
Um,
like what he's saying.
and he knows his game. He's gonna be able to describe it. I just don't know if he's gonna be able to describe it in a way or in a tone that like makes the jury like okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
So like I don't know. I'm definitely not raising my score, but he's so locked for the end. And because he really has played such a good, strong game, and I think deserves to win the most, I'm going to stay at my nine. And then our next rankings will be after the jury roundtable, and we'll have a better idea at what people's odds are looking like.
Um, I'm gonna go down to an 8. I don't think this was the right move for him this week. I understand the logic behind doing it. Like I understand why he did it. But like man, it already didn't work out for him.
This could have been a game losing move.
Yeah.
Um, the only argument really that it was a good move is that one, Jacob is more likely to work with you and take you to the end than Eduardo. I agree with that. I think Eduardo, in all honesty, prioritizes Ashley and probably even Dally over Dakota. Two, in terms of individually timed competitions, which Dakota knows this is going to be the web coming up. Jacob has shat the bed every single time, whereas Eduardo has been like second place or third place every single time. Um, so yeah, we'll see if this was the right move. But now Jacob's HOH, and you can't take him out at four. So
Oh wait, I forgot to tell you, just to recap the HOH last night. Everyone tie. I think this is the first time in history that everyone went into the tiebreaker.
Oh, wow.
Everyone had 6 points going into the tiebreaker.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like Dakota didn't miss one until Eric, the speech by the question about Eric's speech, and then that was the only one he missed. I forget which one Ashley and Jacob missed, but yeah.
Wow.
And then so the answer, the question, the tiebreaker question was about the length of the intro videos, and the answer, what would you say?
Um,
They were all like not close.
what's the it
I'm
was it
not
in seconds or minutes?
in seconds.
Let me do quick math. I would say roughly
And then I was like, Dally, do you want to take a guess too, just for fun?
I would say roughly 700 seconds.
Yeah, so the answer was 618 seconds. That's pretty close. And Ashley said 20,000 seconds.
The intros can be a maximum of 1 minute. That
like,
means at a maximum, we are at 960 seconds.
like, I don't know what she was thinking. But yeah, Jacob said like 300 and Dakota said like 800, I think. So yeah, it was close. It was intense. But yeah. Okay, next. Allie.
Ellie, I just feel bad at this point. She is
Yeah,
trying
seriously.
so badly to play an honest, loyal game. And she is. It's just her, not a single one of her allies has given a damn about what she wants. And
It's
that's
really
not to
bad.
say they're
It's
not
so
her
sad.
allies. Like, up to a point, Eric was not targeting Dally, even if he didn't make moves that were in her best interest. Dakota is her ally, even though he's not making the moves that are in her best interest. But I really understand her frustration of like, what the actual hell? Why are because like in this time it's like there is actually not a ton of logic to keep Jacob the big threat against Eduardo, the guy who apparently has been doing things in the game, so he says. I'm still looking for those moments, but um so like I really understand her frustration. Here's the thing. One, her chances of making it the final two after the deals that she made and discussions that she had just went up significantly. And I think her chances to win at the end are far and away the best in terms of having Sunny, Yoshi, um, Alfred, Brady, probably Eduardo based off of what he said in the jury chat so far. Um, so like a good chunk of the votes. So yeah, I feel good about Dally. I'm going to stay at my 8 until I see that she's made it through this week. Because I don't know why I actually haven't convinced myself that Dakota's actually going to keep her. And I also think that she needs this veto more than others. So yeah, I'm gonna stay at my 8.
I'm also gonna stay at my 8. Um, yeah, I do think that if she can make it through this week, I mean, if she's in the end, she's definitely gonna win against anybody. So I think that's definitely something to reward. But I also think that there's a high chance that she could go home this week because I mean, if anybody but her, if Jacob or Ashley win, I think Dally goes. But also those chances are kind of
Well, if Jacob wins, it doesn't
well, but he
keep
could.
Ashley off the block.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think Ashley would get rid of Dally.
Agreed. But do you think Jacobs would do that? If Dakota tells him I
I
won't get
think
rid
it
of
would be
Dally?
a very big move, a very big lie for Dakota and Jacob to talk and Dakota to be like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna keep Dally," and then not keep Dally. Sorry, I'm gonna get rid of Dally and then not get rid of Dally.
Yeah,
I
that
think
would
that
be
I think that
dubious.
would not happen. this season has been a lot of like, oh, I'm gonna talk to everybody to make sure that like there have not really been any like major blindsides, I would say, when it comes to nominations. Like
Oh,
besides
I
like
was I
Jay.
was thinking
Like,
about this. Not only major blindsides, but like just the season as a whole. There has like sure, none of the weeks have been like besides the weeks where the HOHs didn't say words. There haven't been any weeks that have been like really bad, but there hasn't been a week where I've been like super invested in the craziness that's going on in the game. Everything's been very predictable, in my opinion, with
for
the
sure.
only exception being Yoshi's HOH. But he was too big of an ass during it for me to even root and be excited for it. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Hmm. All right, let's keep going here. Eduardo.
I- um, yeah, he's another one. Like, love him as a person. I enjoy talking to him so much. Can't wait to be friends. But where is this game that you speak of, sir? And like on his way out the door, being like, "None of you can say the taking it, Eric, was your move." And I'm like, "No, they all can. They all can."
Literally, I would
You
say it's
just
more
happen to
that.
win HOH,
I
sir.
would say it's more Dali's move, and it's more Jacob's move than it was.
And it's more Dakota's move.
Yeah,
It's
more
more
Dakota's
all
move.
three of their moves than it was Eduardo's move.
Like like he really didn't do anything. He just won the competition and stayed safe and put like Dali could have changed it, and Dakota and Jacob could have voted like.
And also, everyone was going to put him up.
Hmm.
If anything, a lot of people, what was the comp again?
The HOH.
At the final six.
It was the one in the house chat. The freaking, it was competition recall. What was it called? Whatever it was called.
Oh, that's right. So
Tuned out.
fourth, there were some people throwing it because they didn't want to be the one to take Eric. So like I'm just like, okay, that's not necessarily true. Um, so I mean the fact that he went home this week, I mean, not good.
Not good. No. That would be like the definition of bad.
I'm sadly going to lower my score to a two.
Me too. And because this was very predictable, Eduardo. Like this is like not good.
It was just like it's when you say you've been playing the game and you've been doing things, but then like why didn't we have like there's a lot of trying to have conversations, as in like, hey, we should have a conversation, but then like you don't have it, and I'm confused. And that needed to happen with Dali the HOH, with Dakota the veto winner, and with the voters. And that didn't really happen. So I'm just like, okay.
Hey, Jacob.
This man, this man, at this point, before I like had enough reasonable doubt that like something could still go wrong. He could still get evicted somewhere. The jury still doesn't like him. I'm not sure of any of these things anymore. I think it is not nearly even close to an impossibility for him to be sitting at the end. And I do not think it's an impossibility that he automatically loses the game, especially if he's against Dakota. We'll see how people feel at the jury roundtable. But his game, albeit though I wouldn't say like good or clean, has worked for this season of people. I can really no longer be like he can't win because that's not true anymore. I think opinion, not that it's super shifted, but I think like there's more hatred for other people now as well. And I mean, like, let's be real. Dally and Jacob, I would be shocked if they were sitting next to each other at the end. Um, so that, on top of he came off the block this week. It's not even like he stayed in the vote. He came off the damn block. Like,
Hasn't sat on the block
Dakota,
much
make
either.
a better case for Jacob, please. I beg you. Um, it's cuckoo bananas. I do still think winning a jury vote is going to be an uphill battle for him. Like I'm not saying now I think that he is just as equal of a chance as everyone, but it's no longer a thing where I really feel like he's locked. I mean, especially if Ashley's not going to be in the final two, all of a sudden Yoshi's vote is up in the air. I think Alfred is much more of a swing than we once thought. I think no, I think Dally is still a very unlikely vote for Jacob. um, so I
Like
take that back
honestly,
a bit.
she went to Jacob and was like, she was like, I'm not even mad at you. Like I told you that like you should campaign to stay. Like I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at my closest ally for doing this because it's the one thing that I didn't want them to do. So I don't know. Like she like I don't know. Like I think she's annoyed because she's currently in the season of the people who are like dick sucking Jacob. But like I wonder I think she could respect it if she gets to the end. Like she said it herself that people are
She
complaining.
could, but if it's against Dakota who can like articulate it, like I don't know. I don't see her voting for Jacob to win the season as of this moment. I don't think it's impossible.
I don't know. I think that I think that there are a lot of people. I mean, I've said this for the past few weeks. There are a lot of people who are dead set not voting Jacob, but I think there are a lot of very big fans. Like a few people who are dead set against him, and a few people who will vote for him. I think it's going to be the people in the middle that are going to be really interesting.
I mean, say I think the most likely scenario for Jacob right now is Jacob versus Dakota, which is really interesting.
Hmm.
In that case, I think Sunny votes Dakota. I think Yoshi is a swing. I don't know. I think EJ, I'm gonna say votes Jacob. I think could be a swing, but I'm gonna say EJ votes Jacob.
I think that's true.
As of this moment in time, I think Alfred votes Jacob because
Hmm.
Alfred is like unnecessarily pissed at Dakota. It makes no sense in my brain. I think Brady votes for Dakota. I think Eric votes for Dakota. I think Eduardo votes for Jacob.
Hmm.
I think Ashley, if assuming that Ashley's fourth, votes for Dakota. And I think that Eduardo votes for Jake. It really comes down to like Alfred and like EJ maybe. Like you know what I mean? Like
I know
it's a
it would
close
be
vote.
close,
I still think it leans for Dakota, but like not impossible.
and that's why I think I want that final two scenario the most because I think it's the most interesting.
I think it's the most interesting, but also like no, I don't even know. Like in my like Dakota has just clearly played a better game, in my opinion. So like I would be upset if
They
Dakota lost
played
that
two
final
very
two.
different
But
games.
also Jacob hasn't not played the game to deserve a win, which is why I'm like, okay, if he wins, he wins. Like,
They played two very different games. I think extremely different games.
and one was extremely calculated and strategic, and the other one was extremely rat floater
It
survivalists.
was
And
giving
listen,
like it was giving like Sandra, you know?
no, it's giving Andy, in my opinion.
Interesting. And I love Andy, so
I was gonna say, and people either love or hate Andy, and it's giving Andy.
either way, I'm going up to an 8.
And I was at a five last week. I'm going up to a seven.
So this is a very interesting Very interesting. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. Last rankings next week. And by next week, I mean like possibly tonight again.
Um, I think tonight's unlikely.
There's a lot going on. Actually, not really. No, they're not doing HOH part one.
No, it probably won't be that late. Maybe tonight.
Who knows? But I have class at 10:30 and I need to get in the shower and such. So,
So that's all for now.
okay. How do I stop? Okay.